Greetings again, everybody, from my lair here in the hotel room. This is the glamour of Indonesia. No. Congratulations on finishing day 3. You must feel good. You're getting through the class at a pretty good clip. You've done a screencast, which for some of you this may have been your very first time. You have completed the very first section of your draft strategic plan, and you're working on the next section. Things are going pretty well. You're keeping up with the readings, you're watching the videos. These are all the things I imagine for you. So I think it's good. I think where you're going is good. I think what you're doing is good, and I want to encourage you to keep it up. I wanted to spend a few moments with you at the end of day 3 talking about whether or not your idea for either social or educational entrepreneurship really was entrepreneurship. If it's more social entrepreneurship, then you're using education as a venue or a framework or a platform for creating some sort of change out in the wider society. That could be health related, that could be economy related, that could be relationship related, that could be politically related, lots of different ways. If your idea is more educational entrepreneurship, then you're doing something that has to do with improving or changing or transforming the way that either education is delivered or the way that teachers and students interact, or things that are happening probably more specifically related to the school or the classroom or the teaching and learning that takes place within that environment. So I have 5 questions for you to help you think about whether or not your idea fits into either the social or educational entrepreneurship category. I'm not trying to distinguish between those two. We're really just focused on, is it entrepreneurship? So let's start. Is there a mission? Do you have a driving goal to create change or transformation in either society or in education? And this, when we talk about creating change or transformation, we're saying not just getting better at what people are already doing. We're talking about a real transformation. So this isn't about raising test scores. This isn't about just increasing the number of students that go to school, although that's a good goal. In fact, both of those are good goals. It's about something that is transformative. Something that is, to use a little bit of slang, is a game changer. If your entrepreneurial idea is implemented, the way that we think about or participate in education will change, will be transformed. Next, is it innovative, or more specifically, is it pattern breaking? So that's what we mean when we say innovation. We mean that it's something that is out of the norm. It's not the ordinary. It breaks whatever pattern is there. So if the typical setup for a day in the class is everyone arrives, gets settled at their desks, the teacher takes attendance, there's some sort of objective or learning objective that's shared, there is a short lecture, there is group work, and then there's individual work, and then there's some sort of reflection on the learning for that day, and then everyone goes home. What would break the pattern would be to say, all right, that schedule, while nice, is perhaps not achieving the goals that we want to achieve. How can we create a disruption in that pattern that actually leads to improved, changed, transformed results or activity? So think about that word disruption. How do you disrupt the pattern in order to do something truly innovative? Next, is your innovation attempting to address or solve a social or educational problem through a process of change or transformation? The key here is on the process of change or transformation. This is not something that is just a one-off. It's just not a one and done. It's something that is sustainable. It's something that is perhaps systematic. It's something that perhaps builds. In other words, there might be step 1, step 2, step 3, or phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and each of those phases or steps will somehow be dependent upon the previous ones. Right? This is the way that change or transformation happens. It's usually not just a break. For example, if someone is trying to quit a bad habit like smoking or overeating or, I don't know, driving too fast or whatever your bad habit might be, the cold turkey approach, the just stopping and saying, I will never do this again, is usually not the most effective approach. Usually there's some sort of process of change or transformation that replaces that habit with a good habit, or that reduces the proclivity of an individual to participate in whatever activity it is by demonstrating that there are positive benefits to not doing so. So I want you to think about, does your entrepreneurial idea involve a process? Okay. Next, is the innovation not-for-profit? This is kind of a key component of social entrepreneurship, but as you have seen in our previous days' materials and in the comments that your classmates are making and in the discussion that we're having in these short outros is what I call these end of the day things, we're seeing that there is some for-profitness that goes on in the world of social and educational entrepreneurship, but that isn't the goal. The goal is not to make money. The goal is to effect social or educational transformation. So is your innovation not for profit, meaning that it certainly will have a budget and you certainly will need to have some sort of sustainable financial model. But is it not for profit in that the goal is to effect social or educational change rather than to make money? That's going to be important. And tacked on with this is if the innovation is not for profit, do you have some idea what your financial model will be? Where will the money or the funds or the resources come from to implement your idea and sustain it for the long haul? Is this something that can be made into a process because it can be sustainable over time? And then finally, is there a system of accountability that aligns with the mission? The reason why we need a system of accountability is twofold, I think. One is because we want to be able to measure the impact that your social or educational entrepreneurship has, or entrepreneurial idea has. What is the impact? And if we can measure that impact, if we can observe that impact, we can say we achieved our goals, or we only halfway achieved our goals, or we decided not to achieve that goal and we decided to achieve this goal instead when you're actually implementing it. You need to have a system of accountability that aligns with that mission. Right? The mission needs to be driving things. So we need to end where we think we were going to end when we started. And then the second part of the system accountability is the risk factor. Remember, I've talked on a couple of occasions now that entrepreneurship involves innovation and risk. So if there is risk involved, then there's a chance that you will slip. There's a chance that there will be some separation or gap that will occur between what the mission is and what the outcome is. There's some chance that there will be failure, right? That's the risk part. So you need a system of accountability to understand where those failures occur. And we might as well be comfortable with the fact that failure is going to occur. It may not be the whole system or the whole idea that fails, but it might be a part of it or a component of it. And having a system of accountability that aligns with the mission will allow you to see where those failures occurred so that you can repair them, so that you can fix them. So the risk is always there, and the risk of failure is quite frankly very real. But having this system of accountability will help you ameliorate those problems. Okay, so is your idea social or educational entrepreneurship? Were you able to go through those 5 questions and at this stage in the game answer them at least with some idea of what you're talking about and some level of detail, although you'll get more detailed over the next several days as your plan progresses? I hope so. And if not, try to think about what your answers would be, even if it's just a thought experiment. You don't have to write this down because you're doing your strategic plan anyway. But think about what you're doing and how it fits with those 5 questions, and I think you'll be on the road to really creating something unique and special. All right, congratulations on finishing day 3.